We live in a fast-paced and hectic world where it's easy to feel overwhelmed, stressed, and out of control. How do you manage all the competing pressures without losing sense of yourself? How do you stay focused enough to not only plot a path, but follow it? Welcome to Master Your Life, a show that offers inspiration, insight, and intelligence, as well as success stories from many walks of life that can show you how you can control your own destiny. Our knowledgeable and entertaining host and her guests give practical advice that you can use every day in the quest to master your life. Now, here's your host, Leah Mattinson.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm host Leah Mattinson, and thank you to each and every one of you from wherever it is that you are on this beautiful planet for joining us for today's episode. Master Life has been airing on UK Health Radio for 7 years now. And has been in production for nearly 8. So we're just so glad that each of you have shared this with somebody that you love, and you've found some insight, intelligence, or inspiration to help you live a better life. Thank you to those of you who've been following the show for this span of time. You know who you are, and a big pat on the back. So thank you for all of you tuning in. For those of you who are just listening to this on the audio version, I want to encourage you to come on over to the video version at masteryourlife.ca so that you can see our lovely faces as we demonstrate some tools for your health and well-being today with returning guest Kare Corfield. Kare, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Leah?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Now, the reason I'm having Kare back on is because I've had tons of questions about the therapy, one of the therapy devices that Kare has used along the way, called the Kare therapy devices. And so we wanted to take time just to kind of dive into the Q&A, frequently asked questions, for those people who are interested in finding out more about this healing technology. And because it's like we're coming at the time now where the cynics have come on board and they're going, oh, can this thing actually work for me? And recently I was and family is often the worst. I got it. So I was at some family members' places and they were like, what is that wandy thing? What's that wandy thing? And so I said, well, the wandy thing, and I explained the wandy thing. And then my big cynic, older cousin's husband, who's like an oil field guy, says, I blew it on his hand a little bit. And he said, about 5 minutes after I blew it on his hand, the premium, he said, so I can't tell a lie. I feel something. I'm not going to say it feels great, but I do feel something. And so a couple of days later, they bought a premium, and then they were like, they have relief of some of the pain in their body. So I wanted to bring this episode forward with them in mind, because there's lots of people who are, in their more mature years having and experiencing pain, and they maybe haven't thought about what are some alternative therapies that they can use to help. All kinds of aches and pains in their body. So I'll start out by saying this is not a health medical device. So we're not giving any medical information on this episode. We're just talking about, from our experience, sort of what people have experienced and the feedback that we've gotten as we've been involved with the terahertz therapy information. So Kare, you and I met about 4 years ago. I had you on the podcast talking about another feedback and another therapy device, because you've been dealing with long-term chronic pain. Maybe you could just tell people who are not familiar with your story, just a little bit about your story, and then we'll kind of pick it up from there.
Okay, sure. So around 1987, I was in a motorcycle accident and I lost my left leg. And since then, there's obviously a structural imbalance. And my spine was corkscrewing, and I found that the muscles were being pulled along with it, the fascia, so it was creating pain in my neck, my shoulders, my hips, my knee, my foot. Just kind of throughout the whole body. If one area is off, the rest of the areas go off as well. And then I was in another car accident. I've taken the magnet out of the trunk. And I fractured my C4 for the second time. And so by the time 2020 rolled, or 2021, I believe, rolled around. Gosh, time is going so fast.
Right. Yes.
My neck was in really, really bad shape. I didn't have a range of motion. It was in constant pain. Pain was being referred down to my hips and my knee. And then along came an introduction to the wand. And so I'd say I was probably like a 7 out of 10 solid pain 24/7 for at least 6 months before it kind of got to the point where, your body does okay for a while and then bam, it can't handle it anymore. I kind of hit the can't handle it point. And about a week after I started using the wand, and we're talking like 30 minutes a day. There's a 10-step protocol I was doing. I was keeping it really basic just to see what would happen. I was down to like a 2 out of 10 at the end of a week. And then by the end of the second week, I was at 0 out of 10.
Right.
And honestly, I don't use it every day now. I should, but it's a time thing.
Right.
And so now the pain has not come back, even though I'm not every day. So I get questions on is there residual benefits, or do you have to use it every day? So it's basically supporting the body to come back into balance, releasing the tensions so things can come back into place. And that's what I found anyways.
Right. Well, yes, that's an incredible story, because so many people are dealing with pain and they think they're never going to get out of it. So ever, like you're trapped in that. And it's really hard to live a functional life in any other sort of way, because you can't think when your body's in pain. So there's never mind enjoyment of life, but just being able to think about anything else, right? Basic functionality. Yes. Exactly.
And for me to be out of pain in 2 weeks, to me, that was mind blowing,
Yes.
And me compared to other people, it was not as severe as some people can be. It only been solid for like 6 months, whereas I know people who had been in pain for years and years and years.
Yeah. And then they got the devices and had some sort of improvement in their health.
Settled, calmed, and relaxed. And the pain level, if it's not completely gone, I don't talk to these people all the time. It's not completely gone. It's significantly decreased.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, that's awesome. So let's talk about these wands. I had somebody reach out to me today. It was really funny. A friend from probably about 5 years ago, met this lady. She's a pretty funny gal and takes life in stride, and she does lots of things rodeo-ish. And she's a farm girl.
Well,
rodeo-ish. But anyway, so she posted this morning on Facebook that she had self-invited herself to a cattle drive, which she basically shouldn't have done, but she was thrown off of something and she ended up with a fractured pelvis. And so she goes, so is this a time when I need one of those wandy things? I'm like, might be time. But the biggest question I think people ask is, what is like the big questions of the early entry users is like, what is terahertz frequency? So let's just go back to the basic sort of questions that people have. What is terahertz frequency?
The easiest way to describe it is if you understand the premise of what frequency is a vibration, like things vibrating, And if you know anything about Rife frequency, some people do. You can tune frequencies to different vibrations, and terahertz is just a frequency within a range of frequencies, and that frequency is what the human body vibrates at when it's healthy. So you're essentially entraining the physical body to come up to, because usually issues are caused when the body is not vibrating at a high enough frequency. So you're entraining the body to come up to the frequency of the terahertz. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a great description of what it is, because it's like, as a Qigong teacher, can tell you that it's like, I can tell when my frequency is on or off. And so maybe the people that go, well, is this something that you can see tangibly? Can I see this thing? What would you answer to that? Because people are it's like, I can't see it. So how can it be a real thing?
Well, can you see the frequencies that your cell phone is picking up in order to connect phone calls? A better way to answer that would be, you can see it in results. So yes, it's great for supporting the body to release pain, but it's also really great for your skin, varicose veins. Those are, what am I babbling about? Things that you can actually see changes in the body, but you can't see the wand blowing out the frequencies. It's blowing out air that's being passed by a crystal tube that's been infused with terahertz frequencies. So essentially the air is heating up the tube, and those frequencies are traveling to your body.
Right. Yeah. Great. A great explanation. And one of the things I saw, first of all, that really impressed me was somebody who had Bell's palsy as a result of getting the Jabberwocky. And I was like, holy, look at that. And then they had used it, and it had improved that Bell's palsy to a point where you almost couldn't tell that they had it in the first place. So the before and after pictures were pretty significant. Yes, very, very. Yeah. And that was face paralysis. So Bell's palsy is that. But the other skin conditions would be things like eczema, psoriasis. What would be some of the other ones that are common?
Wrinkles.
Wrinkles. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's another shout out to come on over to the website so you can see us. masteryourlife.ca. So we're not just all talk. Look at our glowing skin. Improvement in hair. That's, I know people go, it's maybe a vanity thing, but a lot of people spend millions of dollars on hair products and having great hair. But I've seen lots of reports of people saying hair improvement.
Oh, yeah. And hair growth. Mm-hmm. One of the ladies I know, who's also a distributor, her husband was using the wand on his head. I think she was saying it was like 10 minutes a day. And at the 6-month point, she posted a picture of before and after. And there was a noticeable difference. There was definitely hair growing. I keep it pretty simple because my hair is short. I just, when I wash my hair, I dry it with the wand. Why have a hair dryer when you've got a hair dryer? That's going to blow out frequencies that are more supportive than hair dryers that blow out very harmful frequencies.
Yes, that was somebody was explaining to me that's a hairdresser that is into the wanding, into the terahertz wands, and they're a hairdresser, so certified hairdresser. They said that it's whatever the radiation is that blows out of the usual hair dryers is radiation. And so this terahertz therapy device is very different. She was so excited to use it. And I got rid of my hair dryer also. So it's like, I only use my Pro on my hair, and definitely my hair is curlier. That's for sure. And much healthier, I think. Yes. So the visible response, very, very noticeable, because people will say to me, wow, you've got great hair.
You've got great hair.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, wand. Thank you, wand. Not wand. Thank you, wand. All right. So another concern that people have, Kare, is that people who are really sick have a concern that maybe this will make them more sick, and they don't want to hurt themselves with it. They'll go, whatever happens, I want to try it, but I just don't want to make myself more sick than I already am. Do you have any stories like that, or people that you've worked with that had that experience and then they tried it anyway?
I haven't had anybody that's been trepidatious, but I have had people I recommend they take it slow. Mm-hmm. Their health conditions were like they had been sick for quite a few years. And it's just like, everybody's so individual. You don't know how you're going to respond to the wand. Some people like me, very quick. Other people, a little slower. Like, I also was, I wasn't doing this on purpose, but I had a neuroma on my right heel. And so it was numb. It'd been numb for like 4 years. It just went numb one day. And part of that 10-step protocol I mentioned is wanding the soles of your feet. So I just was wanding the sole of my foot as part of that protocol.
Right.
3 months after I started, I have feeling in that heel now. Just there's nerve repair that can happen as well. Just as an aside, as part of explaining this. So when there's somebody who has health issues, they're really cautious about jumping into something new because maybe they've had some not so positive results with something before. I suggest they start off with wanding water. Water is an extremely important part of this protocol of using the wand. When you infuse your water with terahertz frequencies, you're actually taking that terahertz frequency directly into your cells. Your cells are absorbing the water. The water's broken down into much smaller molecules. Like if you drink filtered water, yay, that's awesome. That's a great step. But the molecules are usually so large that your cells can't absorb them. The terahertz breaks the water down into very small molecules so your cells can actually get hydrated. I drink a lot of water, but I am finding that I am drinking less than I did before I started using the wand because my cells are getting more hydrated. So that's a way I recommend people start with the water, see how that feels. And then I always recommend everybody at least do the 10-step protocol for 3 days. Very slowly, like do it. Start with, if you're really worried, start with 30 seconds on each spot. You're going to do the soles of your feet, back of your knees, groin area, up and down your spine, under your arms, under your neck, back of your neck, and top of your head. And if you start really slow, like I said, 30 seconds with that, you're going to be able to tell quite quickly if you can go up to a minute, then 2 minutes, and to your comfort level, or you need to just stick with drinking water for a while and slowly introduce the wand.
Right. And so what kind of things have you seen people report from just drinking the water?
Their skin looks much better. They're, like I said, they're not having to drink as much water. They feel more hydrated. Their bowel movements are much more comfortable because your whole body is getting hydrated, not just the channel that the water goes through, esophagus, stomach, and excretion. Yeah, everything, you get absorption. Yeah.
Interesting. I had somebody report that they had a kidney function test and their kidney function had gone from an 18 to a 25. And I said, oh, great. And they responded back, it's not, oh, great, it's awesome. And then a bunch of exclamation marks, because I don't know anything about kidney function, but they were just like, ooh, it's a huge, incredible improvement. Yes. So that was just from drinking the water also. So the structured water, let's talk a bit more about it because people are confused about how to make it. Now, for those people who want the 10-step protocol, you can come to the website iteracarepro.ca, or you can go to buy iTerracare.
Buy iTerracare at buyiterracare.ca.
.ca. Yes, so my website. That's right. iteracarepro.ca or buyiteraCare.ca. So they're both .ca. Just remember that. But so you can find the 10-step protocols on both those websites, and you can find out more informational videos, but and on how to structure the water. But let's just talk about it because people have a million questions about, what can I do it in? What can't I do it in? How long does it hold the structure for? How is it actually tested? How do people know that it's charged? So can you speak to some of that?
Yeah, sure. It's actually a pretty easy process. You're basically putting the water in a glass container. You don't want to use plastic. You don't want to use metal. It needs to be in a glass container, and you're pointing the wand at the water. I have a system set up where I've got a 2-gallon glass jug with the spout in the bottom. Mm-hmm. I fill that up in the morning. I've got a wand sitting on a hairdryer stand that's pointing over the water. If it falls, it's not going to fall in the water, so I'm being safe.
Right.
So it's pointing at the water. I turn it on and I leave it running for about 15 minutes for that 2 gallons. It's going to hold the structure for about 24 hours. So it's kind of my morning routine. I get up, I fill up the jug, I turn on the wand, I go make myself a cup of tea, and then by the time I'm ready to sit down and peruse, emails, etc., I turn the wand off, put the lid back on the jug, have a glass of water, and then go drink my tea.
And so for people who want to investigate more about the structured water, is there somewhere they can go in particular? And I was interested in this question because I've seen people actually testing the frequency using dowsing rods. And so that's how they're showing it on videos.
Yeah.
Or pendulums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's definitely a difference. Definitely a difference. I haven't tried this myself, and I can't remember who told me, but they found that when prior to the water being structured, they were running a red light through the water, and then they ran the red light through the water after it was structured, and something different was happening. It's like the light was actually, instead of just passing through, it was actually in the water. I'm not sure about that. I haven't actually done it myself. I probably shouldn't have mentioned it, but
no, that's okay.
It's just like a curious experiment to try. It's like, is there a difference that way that you can actually see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that people who are self-experimenters are very interested in this kind of technology too. So it's just like, what are the ways to test? And then people go, I can't believe that actually works. But do you remember that? It's like there was a Japanese scientist that actually did these. Yes, Dr. Emoto. So I always like to mention that because so many people actually don't know about that experiment. So do you want to talk a little bit about that experiment?
Oh, sure. I believe this was done 70s, 80s, back in the good old days.
The good old days. But you can find this. You can find this on YouTube. You can find it still when you Google
everywhere.
So,
everywhere.
So it's not been hidden. It's not taken down.
Dr. Emoto, Emoto is how you spell his name. And so he was doing experiments. Do words and thoughts impact the structure of water? Does water actually take on frequency? So he did experiments where in one glass of water, he would put a piece of tape with words on it saying, I hate you, die, or something like that. And then on the other one, he would put, I love you. And then he would flash freeze the water, take a thin slice of it and look at it under a microscope. And the structure of the water that said, I hate you, was very disorganized. There was no beauty to it. Mm-hmm. It was just like a ugly blob. Whereas the water that had the imprint of I love you was absolutely beautiful. It was like the most beautiful snowflake you had ever seen. Mm-hmm. And he did it with a whole bunch of other words. And I still have a water bottle I take with me that has all sorts of lovely words on it.
Right. So there's another trick for structuring your own water, adding more structure to your water. And do take a minute to look up those pictures because it's something that's a great one to share with people who are kind of skeptical about frequency. Because often people need to see it to believe it. So this is one of the ways of sort of threading that needle for people.
Yeah, exactly.
And so with the structured water, you can use it on yourself. You can drink it. What else can you do with it?
You can spray it on your skin. There is a little bit of a beauty protocol that's been kind of circulating for the last year where you spritz your face with structured water. You put a cotton cloth over your face, spritz a little bit more, and then wand your face. And so you're getting the terahertz frequencies from the wand, but you're also getting the water that is being absorbed into your skin. And again, something I haven't tried. I like the thought of experimenting, but getting around to it.
Right.
Not so much. So the ladies that were doing this were saying they were getting phenomenal results.
Love it. Yes. Yeah. And can you bath in it?
Definitely. Yes. I saw another experiment that was done where this fellow filled up a bathtub of water, and he was using a pendulum, and he kind of tested the water with the pendulum, and it didn't move. And then he put a cup of water into the bathtub, so a cup of the frequency water in the bathtub, and he tested again, and the pendulum was making a positive movement.
Right.
So I kept wanting, while he was doing the video, I kept wanting to say, swish the water around, swish the water around. But he didn't.
But he didn't.
But, doing it that way, or some people actually set the wand up, adjacent to the tub, and wand the water before they get in. But yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So I think that what I'd be thinking is that it's good to do it in the glass first and then put it in the tub, because most tubs are not structured with glass. They're usually like a plastic or
exactly
metal, so that might not work. But using glass and then putting it in,
that makes more sense as well. Yeah.
And so then when you're doing a skin treatment, it's like, what are all the things that people are, because your skin is your biggest organ, so most people only ever really pay attention to what they see in the mirror, your neck up, your shoulders up. And then there's this entire rest of your body that gets completely forgotten, nine times out of 10, it's like, then it's a surprise. Oh, that's my body. What?
Oh yeah, you're there still. Right.
You're there still. That's right. So what, have you heard any reports back from people or read anything about what people are experiencing as a result of using the tub?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Yeah, no, haven't heard anything back on that.
All right. So get your researching hat on, folks, so you can check it out yourself and see what people are experiencing. All right. So we've talked about using it on people, structured water. What else can you use it on?
Oh, that's the only water my animals get.
Animals. Yes.
Yeah, animals. Some animals are okay being wanded. Dogs, some cats. My cats are a little bit more of the skittish end of the scale, so they completely leave the room when I turn the wand on. But I do give them wanded water every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and I found that they are healthy, like they're getting up there a little bit now, and I'm just doing things that is going to support holding their health. If they're not going to let me wand them, then they're going to gosh darn drink the water.
That's right. Very good. Sounds like some of my customers, that their husbands don't want to use the wand, but the wife is sneaking them water, and then they go, "Oh, I feel really good," and the neighbors are going, "Wow, you look younger." And he's going, "I know, right?" Not doing anything. Meanwhile, the wife is sitting back going,
Sneaky wife.
Sneaky wife. Good wife. Good wife. That's right. All right. So you can use it on humans. You can use it on animals. What else can you use it on?
Using the water for plants is phenomenal as well. Again, that's the only water my indoor plants get.
Mm-hmm.
Outdoor plants get a different type of water. It's just a little bit hard to wand that much water in a glass container.
Right. Yes.
But I found that the plants are a lot healthier. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that they need to be watered less. I would say that's the same, but they're definitely growing a lot faster. I've got an aloe vera that I purchased 2 years ago now, about this time of year. So it's about 2 years. And it was just a 6-inch one. It's just this big. She's now about a 4-foot diameter and about 4 feet high.
Holy Toledo.
That's and her bigger branches are like that and that thick.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
she's massive.
She's a little girl monster. Yeah.
I would say. Holy, that's huge. Yeah. I don't even know if I've ever seen an aloe vera plant that big.
Yeah, no, she's massive, and I have to replant her again. I had to repot her last year, and I was told to only go up 1 pot size, and I shouldn't have listened. I should have gotten up 2 or 3 because she was outgrowing it within 3 months.
Wow,
of transplant.
So wonderful. That's wonderful. So for everyone who's a green thumb who wants to improve their results in their gardens, it's a good idea.
Yeah, if anybody has the growing towers.
Oh, yes. Yes, like you can get from Juice Plus, actually, the growing towers.
Yeah.
What are they? They are called. I'm just blanking. The growing towers for your. Oh, why am I
Yeah, there's
blanking?
big tall towers that you grow, got slots. And yeah. So if you wand that water and it's circulating through the plants, you're going to have even faster and bigger growth.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
The other thing I've seen with plants, Kara, is that people who get cut flowers, they'll charge the water that they put the cut flowers in, and the cut flowers last longer.
Yes.
A lot longer. Like,
yes, definitely.
yes.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you combine that with a little bit of sugar, woof, they'll be around for ages.
That's right. You keep your seasonal flowers for the entire season. We'll see.
Yes.
Let the testing begin. Commence. All right. So you can use structured water on for humans, plants, and animals in lots of different ways. So that's great to know. We've talked about a 10-point demo. It's a rather noisy process to do that. So again, I would just encourage people to go to the website or the websites that we mentioned so that you can actually see the 10-point demo, and just keep in mind of just doing it for 30 seconds per site. So I'd like to spend a little bit of time just talking about what other kinds of conditions this works on. Does it work on arthritis? And when I say does it work, again, I will just caveat that with, this is not a medical device. We are not giving medical information here. We're just sharing anecdotes of what we've seen. People respond that they've felt a difference in some capacity or experienced some sort of improvement in themselves as a result of doing the treatment, when all other things are the same. And so arthritis is a big one that people report.
Oh, huge. I think one of the main things that the terahertz frequency can do is alleviate inflammation. Mm-hmm. And my understanding with arthritis is one of the main components of arthritis that causes the issues is the inflammation. So, and I know that for me, that's part of why I felt better so quickly. All the inflammation around the vertebrae just settled down. And when the inflammation goes down, then you've got more flow of blood, oxygen, allows the toxins to get flushed out. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Right. So many people are suffering with all kinds of inflammation, like autoimmune stuff, and some of the conditions people are dealing with, health conditions people are dealing with, or even mental health conditions people are dealing with. They're not even sure what the source of it is. So there's lots of what I call mystery diseases now, where people go, it's a mystery why I'm sick, and it's a mystery that I can't figure out where the symptom is coming from. It's a very, very complex thing. So in the storytelling or whatever, it's like being able to just kind of dial it into one specific treatment or one specific condition is really difficult, because most people who are coming to get a device have multiple things going on.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's I would say it's multifaceted in what it does, but the first thing it seems to do for people is to take down that inflammation, which then allows the body to function better. So it's kind of like a cascade effect.
Right.
You get that inflammation down, then something else can work better, something else can work better.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I've seen also or heard stories of people with frozen shoulders, autoimmune conditions. I've seen lots of stories about strokes, like people that have had some stroke recovery, we'll call it, or they'll be not moving and then they're moving. So that's a very, very big changes in people's physical comfort. Huge. Yes. And so for more sort of stories like that, you can make sure that you come and check out the websites and you can send us probably an email to connect to the Facebook testimonial group, if that's of any service to anybody. Lots of people are doing their own research now about terahertz therapy devices. So the common questions have eased off a bit. Kara was mentioning before we got on here to do this recording. because people are doing their own research and finding their way to the therapy devices, which is fantastic. We want more health and healing or ease of the body in people's homes. And so we're going to spend a few minutes just talking about the differences in the devices and the basic devices, the 3 basic devices that are terahertz therapy devices that we both are familiar with. And so maybe we could start out, and Kara might be putting you on the spot. So you can just say, I don't know, or I can't answer that. But is there the iTeracare therapy devices from Prife International? Are they the only technology that is patented to be able to be brought forward to market?
As far as I know, that's correct. There's a lot of knockoffs out there that look like the wand, but if you look down the barrel, it's the crystal that's in tube that's been infused with terahertz frequencies that's doing the job. And Prife, as far as I know, is the only company that has the patent to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's important for people who are purchasing products to make sure that you're actually getting a certified Prife device from Prife International. So just a caution, because I've had lots of people reach out that they've got defrauded essentially. So
Yes.
it pays to do your research and yes, to make sure that you're getting a proper device that's going to actually work for you. So let's just talk about the differences in the 3 terahertz therapy devices. So there are 3. One is a classic, one is a premium, and one is a pro. So I'll just let you take it away.
Oh, sure. So the premium is more powerful than the classic. The professional is more powerful than the premium and the classic. So the classic is the entry-level wand. I don't have one of those here. Do you have one handy?
I do. I will show.
It's the red one.
The red one.
Yes. So it's at a price point that's affordable for most people. It does the job. The only difference between the 3 wands is the amount of terahertz frequency that you're getting, that it's actually putting out. So when let's say you're doing a 10-minute protocol with a classic, it's going to take you maybe 7 minutes with a premium to accomplish the same results, and then maybe 5 minutes with a professional. So they all do the same thing. There's just how quickly they do it is the only difference. The difference between the classic and the premium is that the premium is built a little bit more skookum and it is a little bit more powerful. So it's a little bit shorter body, so it's easier to hold. The body casing is more rigid, thicker. It's built better, basically.
Right. Yes.
It's a little bit quieter than the classic, I find.
Right.
So that's the difference between that. And then you've got the professional, which I'm lucky enough to be able to use one. This is amazing device. So it's bigger, it's heavier, but you're spending less time having to wand yourself. It's you've got more options for settings. You can do low fan, high fan, no heat, warmer heat, hot heat. The hot heat setting on here is so hot that I've never used it. It's so freaking hot. But yeah, so it's built even more skookum. So the professional is built for someone who's going to use it 24/7. It can work that much. So doctors, therapists, massage therapists, acupuncturists, people like that. But that doesn't preclude people, your private person, from purchasing one if they want. I use the professional. I've got all of them in my house, but I choose to use the professional just because it does take that little bit less time, and I feel I'm getting a little bit better of a session with it.
Right. Great. And so again, we'll just go through. The classic is the red. So if you're on the website, it's iteracarepro.ca, or buyiterracare.ca. Then you can look for the red one is the classic. It's kind of a blue gray is the color of the premium device. And the
Yeah.
case for it's blue.
Yes.
So those are both hot therapy only. And then the third device. And so what's the basis of the hot therapy? What's the idea behind hot therapy?
Gosh, was it, correct me if I'm wrong, Hippocrates that said if you heat the bones, it cures all disease. That's probably a little bit of a misquote, but the general idea of what he said. So he felt that if you get the temperature of the bones up, it's going to stimulate some healing response from the body. We haven't also mentioned when you run the wand down your spine, up and down your spine as part of that 10-step protocol or separately, you're actually stimulating the release of stem cells. So there's no need to go down to Mexico and pay $10,000 or whatever to get someone to inject you with stem cells. You can stimulate their release yourself.
Right. That is so cool. That is very, very cool. Yeah, I forgot about that. Good to mention. And so again, we'll just go back to the devices. So the first initial two, the classic and the premium, are hot therapy only. The pro is cool therapy as well, which some people really like the cool therapy. So
Yes.
Can you express from your perspective why people have, or if they've said why they like it?
It's a comfort level thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the winter, you could be prone more to using a hotter setting. In the summer, when it's already hot out, you may want to use a cooler setting. Some areas of the body are more sensitive than others. Like you wouldn't want to you could use like the hot setting, let's say on your knee, but you wouldn't want to use it on your face.
Right. Unless you want to give yourself a sunburn. Just kidding.
Hair hurts burn.
Ouch. So this is a great segue into the joking around about ouch, but people go like, how do I use it safely? People are very nervous about just pointing and trying things. So where do you think that nervousness comes from?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But people are nervous.
The unknown, the completely unknown. It's like, what is this thing?
Right. Yes, exactly. So yes, take it easy on yourself and go, there's not really a way that you can hurt yourself, but what are the contraindications? Where are times that you can't use it or shouldn't use it?
If you've got high blood pressure, don't blow on the top of your head. That's the only spot you need to avoid. If you've got any metal in your body, heart stents, pacemaker, avoid those areas where that metal is. If it's titanium, apparently it's okay to blow where the implant is titanium, but stainless steel, you want to avoid it because apparently it heats the metal up. If you've got some bridges or mercury fillings remaining in your mouth, don't blow in that area because it's going to again heat up the metal. You don't want to do that. Corneal implants, anything like that. So if you've got anywhere you've got something that you weren't born with, you need to avoid blowing on it. Excellent for when you're supporting the healing of broken bones, but you need to wait 5 to 7 days before you start blowing on it. You need to kind of get the bone set, let it kind of sit and rest for a while, let it start knitting, and then support the remainder of the healing process. Don't blow it on open wounds. As soon as it starts to scab up, go for it. Don't use it if you're pregnant. And avoid it if you're menstruating. No real huge issue. It's just for some people, it increases the flow. So it could be a problem that way. Yeah. And I think that's about it.
Great. Wonderful. And so can old people use it?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. Very supportive for
The
people.
elderly.
Yes. For the elderly. Yes. Yeah, just really supports the body systems in kind of remembering what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Part of what it does as well is you're, in conjunction with drinking the water, you're oxygenating those blood cells. And when you get more oxygen in your system, there's less, if I've got this right, anaerobic activity, which creates an acidic body, which then can create cancer, free radicals, all that kind of thing. So when you've got that increased oxygen, you can think better. The blood flows better. I've also seen live blood analysis where have you ever seen live blood analysis where the blood's all clumped together?
Yes.
So they took the live blood and then they did like 2 minutes just on the bottom of the person's feet with the wand, took the blood again, and all the blood was all separated. When you get the blood clumped up like that, it can't absorb oxygen. The sides are all, the sides are not available to be able to absorbing all the nutrients from your blood system.
Right. Really important now when we see so many people dying of blood clots. So
yeah,
just a good little hot tip.
Yes.
Hot tip to check it a little more. And what about little ones? Can you use it on babies? Can you use it on infants?
Yes. Again, that cautionary, start slow, take it easy, make sure, you don't have blowing too hot a heat on them. Drinking the water is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. For the toddlers, the little ones, the toddlers and the little babies. I've used it on my grandchildren, both my granddaughters when they were fussy, and that calmed them right down. And one of the mums said, so do you think that's the same as a hairdryer would work? Is it just the noise? So we tried it, the hairdryer, and they were still squawky baby. And then the terahertz therapy device, calm, happy baby.
Oh, that's an awesome experiment.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was very fun, little cutie patootie. So yeah, anytime we bring it out, it's that not skitterish like the cats, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're down to our last couple of minutes. Kara, what would you say is the biggest question that people have that maybe I haven't asked you already about the therapy devices?
I think we've pretty much covered everything. We've done a good job. Yeah.
Look at us. We've done a good job.
Really anything I can think of that. Nope. I think we've covered it all.
Okay. Beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And so anyone who's interested again in getting a device, this can be shipped worldwide pretty much. So it doesn't matter what country you live in, really, you can get one. You can get it shipped from the stockist in your country by ordering through iteracarepro.ca or buyiteracare.ca. And the shipping is included in the price typically. From wherever it is that you're living in the world. So whether that's Malaysia, Australia, the UK, Canada, the US, India, and the list goes on and on. Wherever your listenership is, don't be afraid to reach out to us. If you have family members that live in other countries, reach out to us and we can help to get you connected with one of these wonderful tools for your home. Everyone has a microwave in their home.
I don't.
Okay. Almost everybody had a microwave in their home, except for Kare. That's the goal. I think that's kind of the one of the visions of the people who started this company was to have one of these in everybody's home. Yes. And the reason why is to just to help and support people's health and well-being. So thank you again, Kare, for being a wonderful guest. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Love yourselves, love each other, mind your minds. That's all for us. Bye for now.
Thank you for being a part of our program today. Master Your Life is a presentation of Leah Mattinson Enterprises, Inc. Join us next time on Master Your Life, helping you to discover the very best of you.